Hi guys, welcome back to Mother Baby and Us.
Today we are joined by Debbie from Loxley Colour, who is our main supplier in the studio.
We are going to be talking about the importance of printing in a digital age, aren't we?
Yeah, why printed products are so important to us.
Yes.
Mother, Baby and Us. So I'd like to welcome Debbie from Loxley Colour in.
Hi Debbie.
Good morning. Good morning.
I'm going to hand straight over to you for you to give us just a little bit of an introduction to Loxley Colour.
Perfect. Well, thank you for having me on your podcast today, ladies. That's amazing. I'm Debbie Bedford. I'm the Customer Engagement Manager here at Loxley Colour. We're based just outside Glasgow. We've got 72,000 square foot of professional lab premises where we do anything from printing, just prints, up to albums, wall products, presentation products, gifting, and everything like that. It is a family-run business. It has been from the beginning, which is over 30 years now, and grown to an amazing place where we do have a lovely showroom where we host seminars and workshops, lab tours, as well as obviously a functioning professional lab for professional photographers throughout the world. We've actually recently expanded into Europe in quite a big way, and also over into the US and worldwide now, which is great.
It's
We
exciting.
kind of work, yeah. We're it's such a nice family atmosphere. It is a nice place to work. I mean, I'm based remotely because I do a lot of the trade shows and things like that, where I can interact with photographers and really get a good understanding of what they need and what they like. And because I find that once I start to understand the photographer's business a bit more about what they want to achieve, it does make it so much easier to advise on what products to have and advise on what combination of products to have for their, not only just their genre, but also what they want to achieve and get financially and time wise, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. That makes sense. Is there any, when you're saying you've expanded into like America and Europe now, is there any big plans coming up that you can talk about that kind of in the next couple of years you expanded any further or?
Yeah, well, we're always trying to be quite innovative with products, and we listen to photographers a lot and see what their needs are, and we try to bring in new products. I think since COVID, things slowed down on the product innovation with new products and things like that. It got very much about we just need to be able to service photographers well and help them to sell to past clients, help them to sell to new clients, help them to stay in the industry and stay profitable. So we work hard on the education side, and that is something that we're trying to expand on and grow much more, working with different mentors, because if photographers are selling, we're selling. So it does
Definitely.
all help. So it's good for the industry, it's good for us, and it's good for the photographers. So we are hoping next year to be launching quite a few new album covers and maybe new frames and things like that. So lots of things are starting to come back in now that we maybe just put on the back burner during COVID, and while everybody's kind of settled down a bit more now and really finding where they want to take their business. And that's where we kind of try to follow the trends of what's happening there and listen to the photographers.
Amazing. I'm going to have to keep Christy off your website because every time you add something new, she's like, oh, we need one of them. Literally, as soon as the email comes in, we've got something on our wall. It's ridiculous.
I mean, it's great to have, we do have such an extensive range of products, and we try and make it as easy. It can be a little bit overwhelming for photographers if they're coming straight, newly into the industry or new to selling products, rather than just digital files and things like that. So we do offer like a consultation call, or we go and visit photographers just so that we can get a good understanding of what you're wanting, so we can narrow it down for you and try and help you with what sells best in that genre, what sells best in that genre, or sizes, and how to relate that to clients, because I think photographers sell in lots of different ways as well, which is really what's why I love the industry so much as well. There's so much variety going on. Like some photographers may have maybe working remotely, may go and sell in that client's home, or they may have a garden studio, or they may have a big high street studio, or even multiple high street studios. So it does vary so much. And I think the more we understand that, and you know, if you're going working remotely, for example, you don't want to be lugging around a great big
Definitely.
60-inch frame. That would just be, in and out of your car. That would be really difficult. But yeah, I think that photographers, depending on what their circumstances are, I think really if you've got a place to display products, it is good to go bigger, because obviously if you're just a photographer working remotely and have to take things around, a big 60-inch is really difficult to carry in and out of the car. So it is being practical and understanding the circumstances of how photographers are working. So there's no point me saying, okay, you should have a 60-inch, a 40-inch Illumini, a 60-inch frame product, or whatever that is, that combination of products, if that isn't going to work practically for you. So I think we like to really understand each photographer's circumstances so that we can work it to the best advantage. Because if you've got something on display, if it's a nice collection of maybe a 40-inch by 30, 40 by 30, maybe two 30 by 20s either side, it looks nice, and it looks like it's meant to be sold as a triptych, like a 3-in-1 piece of wall art, which the client can then relate to. So I think having products that are relatable as well, that's really, really key, and something we try to stay focused on and watch the trends of what some of the photographers are
100%,
doing.
because we had a piece of wall art, that one there, of a newborn baby, and we had it printed because we had a space that we needed to fill, and it was when your canvas tray frames first came out, and we just so happened to have a baby in that day when they came out, and we're like, oh my god, that photo would be perfect in there. So we edited and sent it straight off that day before the parents came back in for the viewing session. So it hadn't been put up on the wall, but it was leaning against the wall it was supposed to be going on. When they came in, they went, oh my god, I'm having it. And they literally bought exactly the same one, and it hadn't even gone up on the wall. But because they could see it, they wanted it. If they hadn't seen that image in that frame, there was no way they would have gone, oh yeah, that would probably look nice, I'll have one of them. They had the same size, the same frame, everything.
Yeah, you've got to be able to see it. It's very hard to envision something without seeing it on the wall, isn't it?
Definitely, especially size wise. I mean, the canvas tray frame, that is an amazing product at the moment. It's really kind of ramped up the canvas, if you like, and it just makes it look really, really premium. And I think people cannot get an idea of what the size is, your customers, so it is key to have it. Even if, I mean, it should be relevant as well. There's no point having, so if you're a newborn photographer, if you've got something on the wall that is, a wedding, one of your amazing signature shots for a wedding, just to show how amazing that's, a photographer you are. If it's not relevant, they're not going to be able to relate to it, and then ultimately they're not going to purchase it. But we're finding quite a lot as photographers are having quite a lot of success with grouping products together and getting more sort of telling a story within that group of products. So, for example, you have a big signature shot in the centre, the one that they really, really love, their favourite, as a big one, and then group together with some more detailed shots, maybe just small ones either side, to make it a nice set of 5, for example. Just changing it up a little bit like that, to give them the idea of the story, the whole emotion, the connection between if it's newborn, it's maybe the connection between the dad and the baby or something like that, and having that on display is really key to connecting with your clients and getting them to come in there and think, I want to recreate, I want that when they come in.
Yeah.
But
And we get that, don't
yeah.
we? When they walk through the studio, they're like, oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Can I have something like that? Absolutely.
Yeah. So would you shoot for products then, do you think? Do you shoot for products in mind? So if you've got something on display, for example, that is maybe, a square one with maybe 3 small ones underneath, and would you shoot for that to try and sell that when the client comes in?
Not necessarily. We usually for a newborn, we tend to do like a mixture of each shot in each one. So we've got close-ups in each setup. We've got the big wide full frame then. And then, so we've got enough to fill a full album if they want it. But then in each setup, they've got something they can make kind of a set with some close-ups going down the side or something like that. So each individual setup we go through, has got those elements every time, so that they've got enough to choose from when it comes down to it, because they don't pick their products until they come back in 2 weeks after the session. So they come in for pre-session and kind of go, they pick their colour schemes and themes with us then in the pre-session consultation. Then they come back in and have the session, then they come back in again for their viewing session. So they see the products every time though. So in their heads, they're thinking about those tangible products every single time. So by the time they come to the viewing, they know exactly what they want then.
Yeah, in the pre-session, I go through all of the different options in terms of how they can have them printed, and then when they come back in then for the actual session itself, as they're walking through the corridors to get into the studio, they're looking at all the wall art again.
Yeah.
And I think it's more real that time because the baby's already arrived by that point, and they can start envisioning their baby in place of the babies that we've got on the walls. And then when they do come in for the viewing, they've already seen the product so many times, they know what they want, and they're coming in, right, this is what I want. And then we try and make sure that every setup that we've done, they can have that in, you know, a big multi-aperture frame, or, you know, grouped together like you mentioned, or just to put them together in an album.
Yeah, I think albums are great for you know, being able to get the rest of the images and have, you know, an extra sale as well. It's perfect, and that tells a story as you go through. And I love the fact that they, you know, they are coming in multiple times, because, and it's almost especially for newborn, because that mum to be and then that actual mum in a different state of mind, that they've got
Definitely.
that, you know, that connection, because, you know, it is emotional, and it's something that I think photography is very much a gift in that respect, that you can be giving to the clients, that it's something that they can look at on the wall or in the album and just smile and remember that moment, that connection, those first smells that they have with the newborn baby, you know, and you know, and just the way that the you know, that there may be blow bubbles or anything, those little things that you find you connect, because those are gone after that, you know, that it's new things that are happening later on. So it's just taking them back to that, and to be able to give them something that they can remind themselves every day.
Definitely.
Something that we say all of the time, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you could be doing absolutely any job, like, you know, around the house, and if you accidentally come across like a photo album from when you were a kid, it doesn't matter what you were doing or how important it is, you stop what you're doing and you flick through that album, you just can't help yourself, the nostalgia of looking back. But and people, they think about, like with weddings, it's automatic. Oh yeah, well, we're going to put a picture of our wedding up on the wall and we're going to have an album. And I don't think people think like that about maternity. And newborn. And we
more so newborn. You get it with newborn, but not maternity.
Yeah,
it's not there yet.
No, and like that's your baby. Why wouldn't you spend as much time and give as much wall space to that as you would like your wedding photos? So we are so passionate about getting people to see it in the same light as their wedding, as important as their wedding photos.
You having them on display for them when they walk in and things like that, that's planting the seeds and just
definitely
giving them more importance, more relevance, allowing them to say, this is okay, this is wall, this is what you should be displaying on your wall, just so that, you know, you remember those moments. Precious. And I think you're doing that, you know, very thing there. That yes, maternity is a little difficult, but I think it's probably, you know, it depends on how many shots, or have they'd maybe be more likely to do wall products, I guess. But it does tell a nice story, and to have a little maternity album and then one for the newborn, you know, almost grouping them together as something is definitely a good option.
We coach. I said coach is the wrong word. We educate our customers, or try to, on the importance of, because obviously everyone wants digitals. They want them for their social media. They want them for their phones and everything else, which is great. Like there's a market for it, obviously, but we try to educate them that that's not forever. That's not going to last unless you nobody I don't know how to explain it. Like once your phone's gone, half the time the photos are gone with it. And the USB sticks, we sell USB sticks with printed products, but we don't ever sell a USB stick on its own, because they go in a drawer, they get lost or broken, and it's just, that's not something that's going to last you forever.
No.
Whereas a photo album or a piece of wall art will be passed down. Like that will go to your children, and then their children will look at it and be like, oh my goodness, look at my grandparents when they were having my parents. Like it's something that is so important. Like we are really lucky that as kids, every bit of our life was documented. We've got so much, and I think that's where it's come from, this passion for making sure everyone is documenting those memories, because there's a huge generation now of people with no photos, like printed photos of their children or themselves, because we went through an age of, I've got a digital camera, I don't need to print that now, I've got it saved. And then everyone was like, oh God, no, I haven't got that saved.
I'm exactly the same. There's a big chunk, there's a good few years that I just don't have anything, because I was taking them on the little cameras you used to take out on a night out in your handbag, and like I was taking them all on those. That's gone. I don't know where they were saved, and they never to be seen again. So there's years of my life that were documented, and they're gone forever.
Yeah, I mean, any printing is better than no printing, but what you guys produce in Loxley Colour is like miles ahead of like your high street printers or anything. So obviously, if a customer comes in and goes, oh, I'm going to buy digitals and I will get them printed, and my worst fear is when they say Asda's, and I got a twitch in my eye. I'm like, it's better than nothing. It's fine. If they're going to print them in Asda's, it's fine, as long as they're printing. But what you guys produce is like above and beyond what that they could ever produce going to a high street then. So the question I'm trying to get around to.
Can you kind of tell us a bit about the journey, like how you've got to that quality of printing, and just how you got there?
Yeah, I mean, things have evolved a lot over the last sort of probably 20 years, I would say, as far as printing is concerned. We're always staying on the edge with the best printers, print technology, and it is key to keep on top of that and keep printers. I know that some photographers do print in house, and I think small ones are not. You can achieve a relatively good quality, but to have it professionally printed is totally different. It's good to see that, to be able to compare the two. But it is something that we do pride ourselves on the quality, and we do offer a free colour correction service, we have a team, which this is manual. It's not done by AI or anything like that. It is done by members of staff actually just colour correcting manually, which they do get through a lot of prints a lot of images every day. But that's great, and we do free test prints so that we can make sure that everything is on point with the clients, with the photographers every time, so that we work closely with them, because everybody's needs are different, and we might recommend a different kind of paper type to work if they've got an exhibition or something like that, or something specific that they want, some specific look that they want to achieve. So it is important, and we have the right people in place to achieve that and maintain it, which is important. Definitely. But we do pride ourselves on that. So I just wanted to go back to the point where we were talking about printing, the importance of printing, and the fact that when you do them on your phone, or you've got them digital files, even from a photographer, and just they do get lost, and it is good to look at something physical. What I'm seeing now, which is working for quite a few photographers, and this is actually showing some behind the scenes, and getting someone having an album and them opening the album, and even looking at it with grandparents or extended family, just that importance. Because I know that if I get out, if my children go round to my parents' house, to their grandparents' house, they want to be looking through physical photos. They find it fascinating and lovely, and just those memories, and want to talk with their grandparents about it. And I just want that to be able to, I think it's such a generational thing that we need to try and hold on to that and show get the importance of that through to the photographer's clients. Because although I understand it, you understand it, photographers understand it, they want people to physically print their product. They want them products up on display or in albums. But I think to be able to get that across to clients might be good to do a little behind the scenes. Just ask your clients if they'll just do a short video of them opening the album, and just their expressions, and just how invested they are, emotionally in those images. Yeah, so it is really different to be able to see them in physical print it makes so much of a connection to see facial expressions when they're just opening, even if it's not an album, if it is just prints, but actually just seeing their expression, especially if they're doing it with somebody else as well, like, you know, their partner might not have seen them, or their grandparents or anything like that. But that is something so precious. And if you can actually have that maybe on your website or do a social media post, it's a bit like a testimonial in a way, but it's just that, you know, it's them opening, you know, maybe opening a piece of wall art or opening an album and flicking through with family or prints or anything like that.
We
Showing
had,
that rather than,
sorry, we had a client tag us in some photos, didn't she? She had an album of, she did like a motherhood session with us. And she took it home and showed it to a little girl and tagged us in a load of photos of a little girl's
beautiful, weren't they?
expression. Oh, they absolutely melted us.
amazing. And to get tagged in those, that's absolutely perfect, because it is just, I think more things like that, you know, is really important, because I think it's easy on a photographer's website just to be showing images. Well, that's almost kind of, you know, rather than images in products,
Yeah.
because that is um quite key, because they're almost, if they're looking through your website, looking through images, and you know, they're thinking of them in a digital form, not as a finished product. So I think having it on your website, any sort of posts or anything like that, show them in products. It's kind of why we developed a sales toolkit, which you can access on the website, which you can download any of the products and put your client's images in them, for example, or anything. So you don't necessarily need physical products to be able to photograph, or, you know, if you wanted to introduce a new product or anything like that, you can just see what it looks like, show it on your website or on social media, or even send it to clients to say, look, I've taken the liberty of mocking this room set up. You know, it might be 3 or 4 images with their 3 or 4 products with their images in on a wall display, and then they're automatically thinking products, you know, and actually display and printing them rather than just having them in the digital format.
Yeah, and that's really good for photographers that are just starting out as well then. They're not having to kind of spend a lot on samples straight away. They can kind of use
Yeah.
that digital toolkit to kind of still do in-person sales, but not so kind of much investment to start off with then. It's really clever.
Yeah, definitely.
And as well, if they don't have an awful lot of wall space, if they do have like a studio that they, you know, like, we are very fortunate that we've got
Too much wall space.
I was going to say, is it fortunate? We've got so many walls that are just blank that need the wall art on them. But I suppose we are very fortunate that we can display the different, not just the different products, but the different frames for the different products. So we can have loads of different examples of the options that they've got. But not everybody's got that luxury of they. So I think it's nice to be able to do that digitally. Definitely.
Yeah, brilliant.
So when obviously wedding photographers and things like that sell a lot of albums and the big pieces of wall art. For you guys, do you know what your best selling product is for maternity or newborn photography?
Yeah, so for those, I mean, it is definitely like the canvas tray frame is a definite good one for the newborn. It's definitely growing. We're seeing that grow a lot. We do a lot of the canvas gallery block. That one's because it's a really good price, so if people are having multiple products in that. But for maternity, definitely the satin acrylic. We do the satin acrylic as a satin acrylic on its own, or with the tray frame now as well. So if you wanted to, you know, you've kind of got 2 products in one in a way there. But the satin looks stunning for the maternity. Gives it non-reflective, but it just is so, I'd say, calm. I don't know what,
I know
but
what you mean.
you know, it does look really stunning
We love
product for
acrylic.
that. But we do sell a lot of the folio boxes with the mounted prints in for maternity and for newborn, and obviously the Esprit book and lifestyle book are great products for the newborns.
I absolutely love acrylic for maternity. I don't know why. Every time we're like, all right, we're going to print this for wall art. Christy's like, what kind of product are we going to do? I'm like, acrylic. Every time, acrylic. She's like, we've got too much acrylic.
We've got one corridor that is just all acrylic. I'm like, we need something else, Abigail. You can't just have everything in acrylic just because it's your favourite.
Some of them are in frames, so that's a little bit different.
I do think you should sell what you love as well, though, and
Exactly.
not to confuse the client. But if you know, the acrylic, you don't need lots of different kinds of products. I'd say have a variety of grouping products together, you know, and big sizes. But, you know, 2 or 3 different products is more than enough for wall products, and then maybe
Yeah.
a couple of options for, you know, albums and folio boxes or something similar is a good combination.
Yeah,
For
I think it's
both
key to
the
kind of narrow it right down, isn't it? Like when we first started, we were just selling everything. Like we were like, whatever you
yeah,
want, you can have it. But we've
yeah.
whittled it right down now because it was just too much choice, and they'd come in, they'd be overwhelmed. They couldn't make a decision while they were in the studio. They'd go home, they'd think about it, and then you've forgotten, and they never came back. And it would,
No, and Abigail says to me all the time, like, I'm a marketer's dream, because as soon as we have an email saying new product, I'm like, oh my God, we need it. And she has to rein me in. But it is right. Like we do 3 different types of wall art, don't we?
Yeah.
We've got loads of different variations of those 3 types of wall art.
Yeah.
But I think that's enough of a decision to make then from that point on. Because when we did everything, we opened this studio just over 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And we brought all of our old samples over from our previous studio and then added all the new ones in. And it was just, there were just so many options, wasn't it? And it was confusing for us. So you can only imagine what the customers were thinking. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's all gone.
we've reined it right back now. And it just makes more sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I think it's really key for photographers to know your margins, and I think with having less different variety of products, but as you say, a variety on sizes maybe and finishes is much better, and grouping them together so that I think the clients are actually your clients are coming to you for your expert advice really, and you know, saying that this is what I recommend. Yours would look stunning in this, you know, because it's something that you're passionate about. You want it's like an artist would have their, you know, their things, their works of art actually framed in what they want. That's it. There's no option.
Yeah.
So it is kind of, you know, in that way steering them towards it. And I think it's less about that decision than it is about the image, the decision of the image. So if you're taking something away, you're going to have much more success with getting
and we
them
do
over
have
the
that, and
line.
we have clients ask our opinion all the time, and I think once you've built that rapport with the client,
They just have the trust in you to just go, yeah, what am I having?
Yeah,
Dream
they
clients they
trust
are.
you. And that's exactly it. And what you've got on display, they'll just want to, they'll imagine, yes, that size is perfect. Yes, that product is perfect, and go from there and enjoy the experience. The experience from coming in, you're taking them on a fabulous journey, from sort of your initial contact right the way through to when they collect their products.
So this part is usually where we will get a question from the comments on a previous podcast episode. But seeing as we have Debbie with us, Debbie, do you have a question for us this time, please?
Yeah, I do actually. Just mainly, what are your thoughts on where the industry is at the moment with everything? Have you seen any changes over the last year with bookings, clients, any trends that have come through?
Yes. It's been a mental year in the industry. Firstly, it was a massive decline in just inquiries in general, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
And it was really scary. But then what we found was, or I'm kind of putting words in your mouth, but was the inquiries we were having were the right clients.
They were.
So there was less inquiries, but the ones that we were getting were the luxury high-end clients that we were looking for originally anyway. So we did have a lot less inquiries from the lower end kind of customers that didn't really want to spend an awful lot. But that kind of freed up a lot of time for us to then concentrate so much more on providing the experience and the quality that we needed for the higher end customers that we were looking for originally anyway.
Yeah, and I think when we came out of lockdown, we saw such a massive hike of people inquiring and booking, and we were just we were up to our eyeballs in babies, when we
Yeah.
for such a long time. We thought this is it, like, because we had just opened this studio.
Yeah.
We thought that was it. Now we were just going to be plain sailing from there on out. And then when we took that nosedive, it was really scary, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was just crickets. And I mean, you go through phases where you have less inquiries.
But it was awful. Like,
We'd never experienced anything like that before, and it was really nerve-wracking, wasn't it?
yeah. I'm really happy though that we're in so many photography community groups, kind of maternity and newborn niche related on Facebook, because everyone was in the same boat, and we were really scared that it was us that was just kind of nosedived, and it wasn't. It was everyone. So that kind of
Yeah, and we know a couple of people that are working in hospitals.
What's the word? Midwife.
Midwife.
That was brain fog for you.
Yeah, we know a couple of midwives, and they were all saying the same thing when they and
There was just no babies being
yeah,
born.
there was as well as everything that was going on economically. It was the fact that there was no babies being born on top of it.
Yeah.
So we were like, we just got to ride it out, and we didn't just sit and kind of do nothing, did we? We were kind of plowing away and did everything that we could to try and generate that business coming in.
Yeah. And we kind of built our YouTube channel, and we can't just sit there and twiddle our thumbs and wait for people to get to come to us. We're very what's the word? I can't get my words out. Proactive. Thank you. We're very proactive people. Like during lockdown, when we couldn't open the studio at all, we were building this studio at the time. We had bought it, but there was so much paperwork and everything. We didn't stop. We didn't have a day off.
We didn't.
The whole of the lockdown, even though we weren't physically allowed to see customers, we were still constantly working. So I think that we're quite lucky in that way, that we will not sit and wait for customers. So when it did come to things starting to pick back up, our marketing hadn't ever stopped. People thought that we were busier than we were really, because we were constantly posting on social media and things. And that was really helpful. I think it's really important, even in downtimes, to keep your social media active, keep your website active, and just engage with people. They'll come back eventually.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think visibility, really, really key, because that just keeps them, because they might not be ready to have you at that point, or they may think, oh, I'm going to leave it, and it's really, really key to keep visibility through tougher times.
Absolutely. And we used downtime then to do things that we wanted to do and just didn't have the time to do. Like we put model calls out so that we could, practice posing that we wanted to achieve, or I don't know, just things for us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe that clients wouldn't necessarily think that they want until they've seen it. So we got babies in and did what we wanted to do so that we had the content to post and
just practice, like things like we use silk scarves quite a lot in our maternity sessions now, but we had absolutely no idea how to use those silk scarves. So it was getting pregnant people in, that we could just use, just stand there please, so we can wrap silk around you. We filmed it, we put it up on YouTube, so there was content there, but it was also like encouraging us to push ourselves that much further every single time. It was just, what can we do to be better today? And it was just keep going.
We're still not back to where we were when we first opened the studio, and I don't know if it's going to get back to that stage for a very long time. Like everyone is still kind of feeling, what's going on in the world at the minute, and people do think more now about what they're spending the money on, and they are a bit more.
And we are a luxury product.
We are luxury, yeah, absolutely. But it's just nice that when we do have the clients come in, that they may be the ones that have got that little bit of extra that they can spend with us.
Or we found that they've just saved an awful lot. They come to us and they've gone, this is like, I've wanted to come to you guys for so long. I've been saving. And I'm like, oh my God, like that. Love it.
Yeah, that's really nice. It sounds like you sort of, you're doing all the filtering of your clients. And although there's maybe not as many at the moment, it is actually, the right clients. And I think that's key, just keeping that marketing to the right ideal clients, so that the ones that you do get in are the ones that
Definitely
are right for you.
Yeah. So has the industry changed for you guys over the last year, or has it kind of stayed solid?
Yeah, we've found it has changed, over the last year, but I think that's why we've really focused on the education side of things, and trying to help photographers, to keep the lift and the boost in the industry, rather than thinking, oh, there is a problem here, and just, oh, everybody's the same. It, yes, they are, that, it is difficult with, for bookings and everything, because that obviously has a knock-on effect
Yeah.
for us as such. But if you know, trying to help photographers to make some changes, make some, you know, be proactive like you are being, you know, be proactive, and showing them how, you know, the different opportunities that, you know, affiliate marketing is great to sort of, you know,
Yeah.
and it doesn't cost anything. You can connect with where, you know, some other businesses that are your ideal clients will be visiting. You know, if it's wedding photographers, maybe some florists, and, you know, bridal shops. If it's newborn, you know, into newborn and maternity wear shops, and you know, and for prams and anything like that. That, you know, scanning clinics, anything to affiliate. You know, do things, you know, proactively for each of the two businesses. You know, it's a free way of marketing.
Yeah. It is hard to get into that mindset when everything is looking so doom and gloom. It's hard to get yourself back into that proactive mindset of, no, it's fine. We'll just tread water and we'll get through it.
I think we are lucky because it's not just us on our own. Like, it's not just me and it's not just you.
Yeah.
Like, we've got each other to kind of bounce that off. A lot of photographers, they work on their own, and it's very daunting when things are looking so bleak, that it's nice to be able to speak to other people in the industry, and like what we do with you guys, and having this conversation for them to speak to other people and just bounce ideas off each other, and how we can, you know, get past this and keep going.
Yeah.
That's great, because there are a lot of, as you say, you are lucky that you know, you've got each other to lift each other, you know, lift each other up and keep, right, come on, let's do this. And
Yeah.
but it isn't, the majority of photographers are working there on their own, you know. You know, during lockdown, that was a key thing to keep people's morale up. I used to do webinars, you know, all the time. I think we've got over about 250 or something like that videos on the Facebook page. But it was great. It was almost like, you know, and I see people at trade shows now and says, oh, they were really good, they just gave me a reason just to, you know. And I thought, do you know what, that just you know, really was the reason why we were doing it. And it was good for me. At least it gave me a reason to actually get up and put some makeup on. At least get dressed from the top half anyway. But it was all about keeping, you know. And I think in these times where you know, if photographers are struggling, you know, pick up the phone to another photographer. There's great networks. Listen to your podcast. Listen, you know, book a consultation call. I love brainstorming. Just you know, message me. You know, we'll go through things. And there's always a solution.
That's why we love you guys. Like, it's such a personal touch, isn't it? Like, you don't get that with a lot of suppliers.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that you guys, like, obviously you want to help the photographers, because when they're selling, then you guys are doing well, you know. So it's nice. Like, there was a point in time where the industry wasn't like that, was there? Everyone kept their secrets guarded, and they didn't want to, you know, help each other out. And I really like the fact that it's kind of gone 360 now, and everyone's kind of...
I'm an open book. I'll tell you anything. I'm terrible for it. Yeah. I should be selling the information I give out. Photographers will email me and be like, how do you do this? Or what have I done? And I'm like, oh, I'll tell you. It's fine. And then there's people trying to sell courses. I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't be telling people this when people are trying to make money off this. But I will. I'll just tell anybody anything. I'm like, oh, go to this people and this person.
Yeah, so I really like that. Like, it's nice to have that personal touch, isn't it?
Yeah. It's why we're in the industry. It's a personal industry. I think you have a personal connection with your clients, and it's really, really nice.
Okay, so I think we might have to end it there, because otherwise we'll talk to you all day. It's been so lovely to chat.
It's amazing to talk to you. I really, really loved it, and it's been great to get an insight into what you guys are doing, and it's fabulous.
Thank you so much for coming on. And I'll pop all your links below. So if anybody wants to have a consultation or anything with you guys, everything will be all in the description below. If you're listening on podcast instead of watching, then I'll find somewhere to put it. I don't know where I'm going to put it, but I'll put it somewhere.
We'll link it in somewhere.
Yeah. Okay, so that's great. Thank you so much for coming on. We'll speak to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks again. Bye.
Thanks for watching this episode of Mother, Baby and Us.
And big thank you to Debbie for being our guest. If you want to know more about Loxley Colour, you can find them at loxleycolour.com.
And don't forget, guys, if you've got a question you'd like us to answer, leave it in the comments below. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Mother. baby and us.